Hey crafty friends, welcome to my September pages in my Project Life album 2022. I've used the Cozy Up kit by Studio Calico. I purchased the digital journal cards and printed them on my new most favorite paper for printing, and that is the Epson presentation paper in matte. I'm just trying to play around with different kinds of product. So I subscribe to the stamp kit, to Studio Calico's stamp kit for 23. So getting in a bit of new product for my projects this year. And there you can see I'm using my stamping platform to stamp my monthly card. I'm using the Nell Alpha stamp set by Studio Calico as well, and I decided to just put 3 letters in a row because September has 9 letters. It worked out just fine. So I'm using StazOn for inking, and StazOn requires you to clean stamps. So whenever I'm using StazOn, I get my StazOn cleaner out and just a cloth to wipe off any ink. So that's what I do with StazOn ink. And also what I've noticed is that if you wait too long, like if you leave your ink on the stamp for too long, it dries up. I don't know if you saw my first impression of the first 3 letters, SEP. I waited a little bit too long, the StazOn dried up, and then I could not get a proper impression of my letters, so I just had to re-ink that. But with a stamping platform, that's just doable and not a problem. I also realized, looking back at this layout now, since I've worked on October, that the photo of my son on the right side that you see there with this orange hoodie that he's wearing was supposed to be a flip up, and I just put the second picture behind it, and I totally forgot about it. So September, I also decided to go with handwritten journaling, which is of course kind of fun. Makes the whole process faster. So even if you don't like your handwriting, just think of all the time you save when you don't have to type up your text on the computer. So it doesn't really matter. Especially if you're working with digital products, you either have the process on the computer or then later once you've printed everything out, right? So since I choose different cards, I put them on a canvas and then print them all together. You can just easily add text and journaling in Photoshop. So September, we still had pretty warm weather. I'm just writing down my 5 favorite things from September. So that was especially the weather, that it was so warm that we were able to have a bunch of barbecues outside. My cousin came over to visit. it was, you know, the beginning of the new school year. Yeah, it went, September was pretty cool. We also went out for a bowling and brunch getaway with our neighbors. That was, yeah, just an idea I had on a Sunday, and everyone jumped on in, and we brunched and bowled, and it was a lot of fun. There's a little glare on the top right photo. My son is snuggling with our cat there, so and you just saw me looking up a word. Like, the photo in the center shows a Zeppelin, and for the life of me, I could not think of the word Zeppelin. I was like, in my head, I had like, oh, it's like an airship, something like that. And I had to Google it. Like, sometimes, I don't know, my mind is totally out of order. That's probably what comes with age. Yes, and also September, 2.5 years, and I tested positive for COVID. Yay. I was only sick for 1 day, felt really bad for 1 day, and after that I just had just normal, yes, mild symptoms. Like, if I wasn't positive, I probably would have, you know, gone to school. Like, I had a little bit of a stuffy nose, and that was about it. So quite happy about that. I prefer to get COVID 2.5 years later, and not at the beginning of the pandemic. Anyway, I kept my husband and son at home as well, and I told them, well, now it's time for you to get it, and if you don't get it now, then that's it. No more COVID in the house. So they had their chance, but they did not take it. So even though we did not care for any separation, no one in my family got COVID after me. So going through my stash of chipboard pieces here, mostly, not mostly, but 100% Ali Edwards, and I added them onto my photos, and because I had my photos in the pockets already, I was just too lazy to get them out, so I just adhered the chipboard pieces on top of the pockets. So when you go through that album, you'll be able to touch the chipboard pieces because they're not in the pocket. For my monthly card, I did add the chipboard on the card, but that's not a photo, right? So that was still outside. So adding the chipboard pieces, like I said, right on top of the pocket, and if it gets lost or comes off, who cares, right? I mean, the stories are told, and that's all that matters. Embellishments and just making everything look nice is just a bonus. And I'm going through my word phrase stickers as well. And I think you can never go wrong with black and white. So just going through my stash, checking what I can use here. And if it's a photo and already in the pocket, I just add the phrase sticker again outside of the page protector. If I'm putting the word phrase sticker on a journal card, that is obviously still outside of the pocket, then of course I'm adding it directly on to the journal card. Except again for my monthly card. You just saw me add the word for sticker outside of the page protector because that card is already in the pocket. Funny. So for September I didn't even have an insert. First time. Didn't get many pictures taken. It was back to school, you know, everything's crazy. And here we are at the end of my video almost. Putting everything in the pockets. And I'm just loving printing out journal cards, especially with my new favorite paper. I'm going to link everything up below on my blog, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!